I think bad art is, you can really tell when there is no passion in the projects for the people that work for them. Okay. Again, as I say all the time, there are always going to be those pigs who consume anything that's thrown at them. You cannot ignore that. That is a reality. It is what it is. However, I think a lot of the big part of, even if it can't be articulated by some other people, that we see a fundamental issue with the state of entertainment. Okay. A lot of this stuff, yeah, social justice also is part of it, but there are other aspects that have nothing to do with that are bad, objectively speaking, where you can pinpoint, like some people are griping, rightfully so, about what's going on in their, let's say, brand of choice that they've liked, Star Wars, right? And I watch a lot of Star Wars content, and I see people break down why this is bad or why this is canon breaking and all of that. And they don't generally have much to do with what's seen as woke or SJW, as some people like this. It's not always that. It's that can be part of it, but a lot of it is that you can see the lack of passion, the lack of attention to detail. And the position that you don't ever want to see yourself in as a creator is when you seem to value more as a fan. You value that brand more than what the creatives do. Now, the creators nowadays are attached to properties that have been around long before they had control of it, right? So Disney has control over Marvel or Star Wars properties. They didn't create Marvel or Star Wars. Same can be said for various other brands where they're owned by some major entity, corporate entity. However, the creatives that created it are either completely botched, because they don't care. They got their money. They're paid off. They sold off their assets. And so they'll pledge allegiance to whatever. Or they're just simply not in control of the creatives. The creatives are not in control of the work. But I saw this. Actually, 3 people emailed this to me and said, wanted me, I guess, my thoughts on this. And there's something to take from this for sure. I had a gripe with how they handled Gore with this whole, and this is a Guy Butcher, which is one of the more decent, I guess, iterations of a villain for Thor that has been introduced in the last 10 years. Let's say that. And what is it, Christian Bale that's playing him, and people are fond of Christian Bale. And ironically enough, you take a guy like Christian Bale, who is known for basically having his body go through ridiculous transformations to really embody what a character is. And then they had a character that, as the trailers came out, who is Gore, that looks nothing like him, right? At all. Like, it doesn't look anything like him. He has a fully formed face. Gore has never, prior to him becoming God Butcher, his species, they don't have like fully formed human faces, and never have. And everybody has their theories of why that's the case. Or they didn't want him to look like Voldemort or some stupid shit. I was like, no, I think this has just more to do with they have no passion in the project and they didn't care. That's just what it ultimately boils down to. They just didn't give a shit about that sort of detail. So he got a Quan Chi kind of looking character that hit that stare. So again, I got this email from this fan-made sort of not poster. And this should never happen. So what happened was these fans, took it to using Photoshop and various other things and basically edited some of the footage that we saw from the trailers that had Gore that doesn't look anything like Gore. It's basically Christian Bale painted white, and that's basically what it was, a whitish gray. Whereas to here you have, as you can see, fans that are, obviously you can tell it's still Christian Bale, who have taken it to edit it themselves. And this looks pretty fucking good and looks pretty fucking accurate, at least somewhat, to the character. This looks really fucking cool here. This should never happen. And this is why I say, especially something like with what Disney does, it's inexplicable. right? You cannot explain it other than they just don't have passion in their projects. And we should never let them make it. These are billion-dollar companies, right? So when you see a cosplayer do better or something like that, that should never happen. That should never they have so much money at their disposal. And they got the little tentacles on the side of his head. Everything, they were able to somehow nail all of this. A fan that just said, fuck it, I'll give it a shot. This should never happen. Ever. This should never, ever be the case for your brand where you have people that pay more attention to detail than you. And they care more about the product than you do. Never. And the consumers, the pigs that just consume anything, will say and make all the excuses that they want to. Well, it's a different universe. Who cares? Christian Bale's awesome. Marvel, DC, consume product. Be excited for next product. Blah, blah, blah. Whereas this actually looks like gore. And I think this is all people ask for. It's not about it being a one by one. It's that, dude, you have produced billion-dollar revenue movies. You have no shortage of money over there. Why on earth would people not expect you to at least try? And that's where the gaslight comes from the consumers, right? They act like you're being irrational because you just say, look, dude, I'm not expecting a one by one, but at least show me that you are trying, right? Show me that you are trying. When a CGI sucks in She-Hulk, which should have never been a CGI character anyway, right? You should have been able to get someone that was big enough, or doing various camera tricks. You do it with Tom Cruise all the fucking time to make a athletic looking chick be able to, because again, She-Hulk's not Hulk. I said this time and time again. She-Hulk is not Hulk. She's the size of a WNBA player, basically. And as far as her height, and she's built like an athletic woman. She's not obnoxiously, cartoonishly big like Hulk is. That was how they were separating the two. Instead, you opted to not only do CGI, you did bad CGI. So why wouldn't people call that out and be like, dude, that's terrible, right? So this is a lesson. There's a lesson to be learned from this if you are actually a creative. And that is that don't ever put yourself in a position to where the fans of your work seem to care more about it than you do. We have a lot of that going on. Fan hating creatives, right? Gaslighting fans and stuff. Riordan with the Percy Jackson stuff. See Nick O'Neil Gaiman or Gay Man, whatever his name is gaslighting people over Sandman stuff. Like, don't be that guy. It's not to say that you're not gonna write a perfect story every time, and people are gonna take issues with it, especially if they're passionate about it and they're actually fans of it. But there's a lot of money to be made, and they can make you rich. And I think at bare minimum, if they're definitely spending money on your products and they've carried you, that minimum you owe it to them to care about the project. And if you don't care about it, they pick up on that, right? And that was my criticism of this. Had nothing to do with woke. It was the criticism of She-Hulk. It's like, you're showing me that you don't care. You got all that money, and you showing me that you do not care about that at all. It's just another cash cow for you. And okay, don't expect people not to call it out. And just because the consumers want to maintain their access, or they like who this gets mad, right? Spiteful people. They like, well, this makes the right people mad. So, I'll support it even though it's nothing like what it is and what the general anticipation should be. It's just, oh, well, it's a different universe. Who cares? Don't be that guy. Show your audience you care. They can pick up when you don't have passion in your projects. They can pick up on that. It's not even difficult to do that. You just listened to a clip from my podcast, For Canon's Sake, which is live throughout the week at 12 p.m. Central on youtube.com/YoungRipper59 and odyssey.com/@YoungRipper59. Be sure to check out my website, ericdjuly.com, so you can stay up to date with everything it is that I'm doing. You can also become a member and get access to a bunch of cool perks and exclusive content, which includes a social media hub where you can interact with myself and other members. It even has an app that you can get, which is now live.
in the Google and Apple stores.